Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Very happy to be here with all of you in our first webinar as part of Clean Tech Media. My name is Waleed AlHallaj. I am the CEO of Solarabic, the orange partnering company with Clean Tech Media. Just for people very briefly to understand, Clean Tech Media is going to be the expansion of Solarabic beyond the Arabic world. We will be more than happy to expand our network, our contribution, our regions of focus to neighboring countries with rapid growth in renewable energy, EV, and sustainability. And today we have chosen to start with one of the fastest growing markets in maybe not only the region, one of the fastest growing in the world. More than 220 million people in Pakistan depend heavily on solar energy with more than, I think, 60 gigawatts last time I checked. Sorry, more than 46 gigawatts of installed capacity until 2026. More than 6 gigawatts of them are net metering capacity. Energy storage growing faster than most markets. There is ways to use solar energy in every single application in Pakistan. And this is why we decided to have a webinar today to give an idea about the market in Pakistan with a group of brilliant professionals and proudly some close friends of mine. Thank you all for joining. I hope that this presentation, this webinar adds a lot of value. I am super excited to learn more about the market in Pakistan. I think it's a market that's extremely interesting for any solar professional in the Middle East, in Asia, or all over the world. Um, and I will try to be as efficient as possible. Allow me to introduce our first presentation of the day. Muhammad Nouman Azhar from Polyntech. Polyntech, Muhammad, I'm extremely happy to have you, especially Polyntech has been growing really, really quick in our region, and I'm assuming that also applies to Pakistan. So please, I'm pretty sure you're going to introduce the company if you can share your screen with the presentation, and we are extremely excited to have you with us.
Yeah, thank you so much for the kind introduction. So you're absolutely right. Best and renewable energy is booming here in Pakistan. So let me introduce myself to the audience first. I am Noman and I am currently working as a country sales director at the Polyntech. So let's not waste time and then let me share the presentation so we can see. Just give me a minute if you can.
Yes, it's clear,
Can
Muhammad.
you see my screen?
Yes, yes, sir. You can go ahead.
Yeah, okay, perfect. So the major part in today's presentation, which I actually want to cover about, is like most of the products which we are selling here into the Pakistani market. So first of all, I will just like to give you the basic introduction about the Pylon Tech. So as you can see from the slide, we were founded back in 2009 and we went public in 2020 in China. So considering the history, if you see, there are so many companies here in Pakistan too. Considering Pylon Tech, it's one of the pioneer into the lithium-ion batteries. So starting from 2009, our core business is to, work into, providing a complete battery energy storage system to the market. So, we start from like basic step. So starting from like cell manufacturing, then to the making the battery cells, then making the BMS and then the EMS and then the whole package. So we have been expertise previously into the residential segment, but now we are expertise into the C&I sector as well. So you can see like we have dedicated 16 years of experience, and we have served more than 2 million systems worldwide, and we have the annual production capacity of 13 gigawatt hour, and we are delivering in 90 plus countries as of now. So this production capacity we are trying to increase. So I think by the next end of the year we'll be touching around 20 gigawatt hour per year. So as I told you before, like we are not only the company who does like cell assembly. So we are basically a vertical chain production company. So for all the lithium ion batteries which we ship all over the world, so we do it like in complete way. So like we have manufactured, we started from the raw material, we make the cell, then we make the battery module out of it, then we make the BMS system, then we make the energy management system, and then the complete ESS, and then of course the recycling. So the recycling actually is new concept here in Pakistan, because now the lithium ion battery has been started in large numbers in Pakistan. But after like 5 or 10 years, because it's sort of considered as a dangerous good, so it will be very sort of creating another segment of the recycling as well. So hopefully we will see in Pakistan into the future market as well. So this, as I have explained, like we have, our headquarters is based in Shanghai, China. Then we have, our R&D and manufacturing base in Jiangsu, that's of 8.5 gigawatt hour. Then similarly, we have a manufacturing base at Onhai, that's 5 gigawatt hour plus 5 gigawatt hour is like already in product progress, which I mentioned you that we will be touching around 20 gigawatt hour in the near future. Then also because we have been focusing on in Europe from a long time, so we have, an assembly base there in Italy as well for around 1 gigawatt hour. So what's the long-term plan in Pakistan? In Pakistan, we have, to be the number one best brand in Pakistan. Like we want to be the affordable premium, and we have to, sort of want that our safety and reliability should be first, and the customers should enjoy the maximum lifetime value of our products. So in the terms, we are trying to, as of now, what we are doing is like we are sending, CBU units. So for the residential segment, what our plan is to establish, the local service. We have already established local services in Pakistan. We have after sales engineers. We are building a lab here as well. But in future, what we are trying to do is like, try to go into the local manufacturing as well. Starting from obviously the SKD production, and then in future to be, for the CKD production is the long-term goal. Because if you consider, several factors, there are, in Pakistan, considering, the import duties are actually very high. So this plan is not like yet finalized, but we are considering how like to, go about it into the future. So there are several aspects in that we are still configuring, but as of now, we are doing like CBU business in Pakistan. So the long-term plan is basically, to establish not only, sort of selling batteries into the market, it's to basically, partners, with the strong companies, like with the strong groups who have, a good technical knowledge, who have been, can be a, a very good partner in terms of the after sales services, because BESS is, all together for the after sales services here in the Pakistan. So, I just wanted to give, the audience a glimpse, like, how solar actually, especially the residential segment, has, evolved, or, it sort of had outburst in the Pakistan. So if you see the picture on the right here, you can see that in Lahore, May 2022, you can see, hardly, rooftop has, the solar panels on that. But if you see, in September 25, it's full of solar panels everywhere. So now basically the requirement is there for the best, because previously in years like when we entered into the industry in 2016, 2017, so there was, less implementation. But like last 3 to 5 years, there is a huge implementation of grid-tied solar systems in Pakistan. You can just see from the glimpse of this picture as well. So now, because some of the government tariffs, and also because of the some government policies, and also because of the dependency on the grid, so now people have realized that in need of, not only, you don't need solar panels, you need also, battery energy storage systems as well. So that's why, in this year specifically, there is sort of a huge demand. So this is some of the data which I got received from, another best conference few days back. So if you roughly consider, like, we have, around 40 million of households here in Pakistan, and out of those, around 7.3 million have already, installed solar systems in their houses. So if you see, like, out of those, 7.3 million, almost 4% have roughly installed BESS, in their households. So, that's every, one of 26 solarized households, which is, using now BESS. But considering, the future, if you see the numbers now for the BESS, because this is like till, fiscal year 2025. So, but in future, you will see a lot of, demand for the BESS in Pakistan for all those households who have already installed, grid-tied solar systems as well. So overall, if you see the cumulative BESS import, like in 2018 to 2025, that's, around 7.6 gigawatt hour. But if you consider, only the residential import in that, for the residential around batteries, that's around 4.6 gigawatt hour. And that's, only in 2025. So you see, there's a whole rush of, lithium ion batteries, especially into the residential segment, into the Pakistani market. So considering now in this year, I think we will be touching, I think we'll be touching almost twice than that of, this 2025 year. So as far as, the solutions which are concerned here in Pakistan currently, which we are doing is, we have, residential products as well. We have both, C&I products as well. We have, even utility scale products as well. So I will just go through these slides just to give, audience an idea that what actually we are doing here into the Pakistani market. So currently for the residential segment, we have these two products. This one is, we call it FIDES, it's 5.12 kilowatt hour. Then there's a FIDES Plus, it's 16.07 kilowatt hour. And just in few months, we are also launching another product. It's known by the FIDES Max. It will be 20 kilowatt hour. So both of these two are like low voltage batteries. So I'll just go through some slides just to, give you guys idea about these two residential products. And up till now, like this year, we have shipped around 350 megawatt hour of this products here into the Pakistani market. So it has, all the premium features. The FIT is 5 kilowatt hour. It has 8,000 cycles. It's IP65. It's 1C rating. The best thing is that you can install it anywhere in the Pakistan because it has, C5M cell coating. So even to, our coastal areas, it's very much good to, basically install there. It's sort of an anti-corrosion. So this is the data sheet, like 5 kilowatt hour. It has 1C discharge. You can install into, multiple parallel units as well. Up to 20 batteries. You don't need any, external device or, our LV hub to combine those batteries. You can just attach, 20 batteries in parallel, and that can be connected via the communication cable, so it works fine up to 20 batteries. It can be, sort of mounted on the wall. It can be, ground mounted. It can be, put in the rack as well. So depending upon the requirement, but generally here in Pakistan, people are installing either, 5 kilowatt hour or 10 kilowatt hour. So they generally go all, these wall mounted options. So then you can do, obviously it has, the mobile app. You can do, smart monitoring on that as well. Same is for, the FIDES Plus. It has, it's not 1C, although it's 0.67C, and rest of the, specs are almost the same. It has same C5M coating. It has 8,000 plus cycles, advanced BMS. Then similarly, it has, intelligent battery energy storage system. So as I shown you before as well, we as a Polyntech, we are not only, a assembler, we are basically a cell manufacturer. So we do our own battery cells, then, we do the battery pack, then we do our own BMS, and then, the product is ready there. So in that FIDES Plus, we have an LCD screen too. We can see, many specs there, like what's the charging capacity. Even you can go and check out, each internal cell voltages, temperature. If there are any faulty alarms, you can also measure those. Similarly, it has, the mobile app as well. You can monitor on that. So it is having, all the international certifications as well. So it's one of the most popular products here in Pakistan. So we launched this in back in February. So we have a lot of, shipments coming for this. So accumulatively, if I roughly calculate, we have shipped around, 300 megawatt of this product, 16 kilowatt hour here into the Pakistani market this year. So it's similar for this. You can add, 16 units into the parallel. And if you add an LV hub, you can even go up to 1.4 megawatt hour for this battery for this battery, sets. As I mentioned, like it has the 5M coating, so it's sort of a dust and monsoon proof. You can even install into, your coastal installations as well. So same, it has, the smart monitoring systems. This is just a glimpses like where it can be installed. It can be installed in firms, like houses, factories. So then, if you see, nowadays people are also trying to go into, high voltage systems as well. So for that, our best solutions are already, selling into the Pakistani market. So in Pakistan, we generally say it like they are the, rack solutions as well. So this first one we have sold, in large number of quantity. This is Force H3. It's a 5 kilowatt hour battery module, and it's scalable. Like with single BMS, you can attach up to, 35 kilowatt hour battery modules. And also, if you want to attach more, like you want to do sets of 35 kilowatt hour, you can do like six in parallel as well. So this is battery is also available into the Pakistani market, for the audience. If they want to buy, they can. Then we are introducing some new products here as well. This one is M1D. Its single battery module is like 18 kilowatt hour, and with single BDU, like you can connect up to like 6 to 15 modules depending upon like whatever is like your demand. So like with single BDU, you can connect around like 108 kilowatt hour till like 270 kilowatt hour batteries with this. Then considering this product which I showed you, this is 1C. This product M1D is also it's 0.5C, and then we have introduced another product this year into the Pakistani market. It's known as Reef Magic. So in Force H3 you find a 5 kilowatt hour module, but in the Reef Magic you find a 7.5 kilowatt hour module, but it's 0.5C. But the good thing is that it's scalable more. That Force H3 was using like 7 batteries in parallel, but here, if you see, you can use like 10 modules up in with one BDU in the parallel, and up till like you can use even like 6 groups in parallel as well. Like if one group is like 75 kilowatt hour, so you can use like 75 cross 6 kilowatt hours in parallel as well. So these are some of our high voltage range, and you can say like sort of rack solutions which are available here into the Pakistan. But nowadays, if you see, the industry is moving towards, a lot of C&I products as well. So if you see, we just recently have, these two shipments. They are even just, today, actually they're shipping out from China to the Pakistani market. So the Pakistani market will see in very few days, the installation of these systems as well. So this is a hybrid BESS. We call it like the cabinet solutions. So in this we have like a 50 kilowatt hybrid inverter and 108 kilowatt hour backup. Then we have a 60 kilowatt and 1 to 6 kilowatt hour backup. So this can be like utilized for small commercial places, even like hospitals as well, depending upon the load requirement. But these systems like 50 kilowatt hour, like this A100 hybrid system which we say, this I think will be sort of a game changer in Pakistan, because we have a lot of systems ordering for this as well. Then I think the most which we can use here is like this L260 hybrid. So if you see, there are so many companies coming here into the Pakistani market now with this 261 or even like 241 kilowatt hour battery energy storage system. So this system we are also shipping a large consignment this month from China to Pakistan, and like they're already sold by an EPC. So you will see the installation of these systems as well very much in the into the near future. So this also is like, it houses with like a 125 kilowatt hybrid inverter and a 261 kilowatt hour battery backup, and it's scalable. Like you can install multiple systems in parallel. Like you can do like 6 systems over here. If you see 1560 kilowatt hour battery, you can do with a single installation on a single load. So these are some of the systems, but I would like to add one point here in the audience. Like I've shown you the sorry, our hybrid systems, but they're also like they are the DC coupled system. But in the same configuration, we have, our AC coupled systems as well. So I will just go through some more system as well, just to give the audience an idea that Polyntech does not only, work in the residential segment. We are also working deep down into the C&I segment. So you will see a lot of products in the future coming to the Pakistani market. Like we have, I just showed you a 260 kilowatt hour system. This one we have like it's a 300 kilowatt hour system. It's similar, like scalable up to 1.5 megawatt hour. Then we have this 407 kilowatt hour system. It's scalable even up till 5 megawatt hour, depending upon your requirement. It's actually a 0.5C system. Then after 417, we have a 522 kilowatt hour system. It's scalable like up to 2 megawatt hour. You can use it in like 0.5C rating, even 0.25C rating. Then after like 522 kilowatt hour, we have the containerized solution, which is especially getting popular in our most of the industries, especially the textile industry is moving sharply into these containerized solution. So for that, we have like 500 kilowatt 1 megawatt hour system. And then we have like 1 megawatt AC side and 2 megawatt hour DC side system. And then we have 2.23 megawatt hour. Generally, and if you see some customers in Pakistan, they also demand, 1C systems as well. So cater of, that demand, and also some European countries also have in Pakistan who are offering like containerized solution for 1C. But if you see this product, this can be in parallel too. So we can have, 2.3 mega, we have a 3.3 megawatt hour system. Then again, this one is for 1C 3.3 megawatt hour. Previous one was like 0.5C. This one is like 1C for 3.3 megawatt hour system. Then we have, similarly a 5 megawatt hour system. After that, we have, a 6.26 megawatt hour and 6.40 megawatt hour system. There's another system of 8 megawatt hour. I did not include it. I think that's mostly using in utility scale here. So this is like sort of the complete product for portfolio from the Pylon Tech. So if I just want to stop here and see the audience. Yeah. Yeah, so if you see for the pylon tech, you can see the complete range of the products, like starting from the residential segment, a very small product of 5 kilowatt hour, up till 8 megawatt hour of containerized BESS solution. So because Pakistani market is currently emerging now for the BESS system, especially in the residential segment, we have covered a lot of market there, but as of this year, you can see, a lot of demand in small C&I systems as well, also for some of the the industrial bases as well. So in future, if we see Pakistani market as, not only for the residential segment but also for the C&I segment as well. So this is all from my side as far as the pylon tech products are concerned. So now over to Ms. We can sort of to
Thank
carry
you.
on with the next
Thank you,
questions.
Nouman. Very informative, and it's extremely interesting to see the range of coverage for Polyntech, and that, of course, accommodates the market needs as of today. And I have one follow-up question. I just now, number one, I want to say for people who want to ask any kind of questions, please, if you're watching through Zoom, you can put it in the Q&A section directly. If you are watching us from any of the social media platforms, please feel free to write the question in the chat and our team will deliver it to us. But Nauman, one question. Today, we see a lot of energy storage systems all over the market. You go to China, you see there is more companies than you can remember. You see, you go to Europe, you see different kinds of also brands as well that are extremely active. In your opinion, in your point of view, what will be the difference, or basically what are the brands that will sustain in the Pakistani market in the upcoming few years, and what is extremely important for people to take into consideration before they choose their BSS system?
Yeah, thank you. It's a very good question. It's sort of a very relevant question. Even in Pakistani market, when I am with my Chinese colleagues, so they even tell me that we have not seen these company even in China as well. Those companies who are working actually here into the Pakistani market. So as far as the long-term consideration is concerned, I think only those companies. First point I would like to add here is that first point is the after-sale services. Those companies who are having good after-sale services in both especially into the residential segment, I think they will sort of survive here in into the Pakistani market. And then second thing is sort of your product quality. So as far as the product quality is concerned, as for as I told you, like Polyntech has been doing R&D from 2009, and 2014 we deployed our first product of battery energy storage system, right? So we have like a big history behind that, so we understand like what actually warranty means. I see so many groups here in Pakistan law, they're offering 10 years warranty for the products. But I even ask themselves, and I ask myself as well, like if the company life is like only not bigger than 2 or 3 years, so they don't understand what actually 10 years warranty means, right? So as far as the companies who have the good R&D, like specifically into the lithium ion batteries as Pylon has, so these sort of companies, they will be definitely surviving in the longer run. And nowadays people just want to sell a low end cost product, so I think that's not good also for the Pakistani market as well. Most of the Pakistani people, they go into they consider only the upfront cost actually, right? So for that upfront cost, it's it's one thing. But if you consider the long term cost, for example, if you buy a good battery and it's giving you a lifespan of like 10 years, so and if you're buying three batteries for for the 3 years, even if you consider that, you're paying more cost out of that. So first thing is the after sales, and the second thing is strong R&D backing of the company. So that will help company survive here in the Pakistan.
We have so many questions for you. Especially we have our brother Zulfikar. He sent a question with one word, price. So we will go into these questions after we invite our speakers. Before we move into the second part of the day, I would like to just ask a question to our audience watching on Zoom. We would like to know which region or which country are you watching us from? Is it Pakistan, or is it otherwhere in the region? For others, maybe outside from the region completely. We understand that the Pakistani market is massive, is bringing a lot of interest and attention from people inside Pakistan and outside. And understanding the attendees' background will help us focus on the discussion, on the points that we require. Can we see the results? Sada? Okay, so 54% Pakistan, the rest are GCC and Levant area, which makes absolute sense. تمام. Maybe another question. We'll do the second one to understand the background of everyone. So it would also help us, people again who are not watching through Zoom and cannot see the poll that comes on the screen, please write it in the chat. Are you from a developer, EPC, service provider, operation and maintenance company? Are you an investor, public sector, academia, consultant, independent, just whatever your background is, please let us know. It helps us to understand the topic to focus on in our discussion. We see most of the, okay, this is a lot of, we have consultants, we have academia, independent, service provider, O&M, and of course, EPCs and developers. Sounds good? Sounds good. Thank you, Shada. طيب, before we go into the next part, I would like to invite our colleagues who are going to be joining us in the panel discussion. Rana Farhan from Huasun Energy, Moiz Khan, SBEEC, Gal Waqas Shahid from UNIRAZZ. Please, guys, feel free to open your cameras and join us. We look forward to an interesting discussion with all of you. I'm going to give you a chance with the first question to introduce yourselves and your companies quickly. But there is so much for us to discuss. And because I'm going to start with Rana, because Rana is a very, very old friend of mine. And that requires extra attention. Of course, Rana, I'm very happy to have you over in our webinar. If you can give people a very quick introduction. And this, I want to ask you because I have seen your posts that you're promoting for Dr. Solar, and it's amazing to give an idea about the market size, growth, and so on. After you introduce yourself, I would like to get your feedback over what do you think is going to happen in the solar Pakistani market over the upcoming few years, especially with the increasing implementation of energy storage.
Thanks, Waleed. First of all, it's a pleasure to be here. As far as my overall exposure since last more than decade, I have been fortunate to witness Pakistan renewable energy journey more than 50 gigawatt up till now. So at this time we are talking about gigawatts, but I remember we started it from watts, then kilowatts, and then back in 2019 we just had a 30-40 megawatt market, but after that it suddenly get a jump over the market size, and now we have a lot of solar panel installed in Pakistan. So I believe continue with this chapter. The next version of the market is obviously the storing and clean energy, so managing it intelligently to make the power system more resilient. So this would be the next phase of the Pakistan market. So if you talk about the next 5 years, so I believe our government is also, very supportive in this, the policy making, and then the helping the investors. Like the policy just initiated by the government is CTBCM, which is a very good initiative by them, and also the ISMO, which is monitoring and inviting the global investors and developers into the market. So overall, we are now enough with the solar panels, but now it's a time to how we smartly use these panels to, maximize the efficiency, and how smartly we can utilize these installed base in Pakistan. This is a huge, we can't imagine such like, the development in Pakistan, but it's opened the door for international as well as the local community to now go for the storage.
Can you give us an estimation of what you think is going to happen in the market in the upcoming few years? Is it going to grow? Is it going to explode massively? Is it going to sustain?
Yeah. As far as right now the situation in Pakistan market is it's full of panels. Now the next phase is obviously how it move toward the smarter and intelligently utilize these panels. So I think now the more import of panels will be less, but the more focus will be on the storage. So this is going to be happen. That's why the government organizations are started the policy changes directly from net metering to net billing. This is the right decision from the government side, because it is the sign that they now driving the strategy to let the consumer store their energy and utilize during the off peak hours, so which they are going to help the industry as well as the consumer side.
This is a brilliant approach because it helps stabilize the grid using people's investments. Like I think other markets have done things a little bit differently, where they reduce the approvals, for example. So instead of 50%, they reduce it to 20. But no, the approach of allowing people to expand the grid using the flexibility of the user side is a brilliant. Which brings us to a question I would like to ask Gal Waqas Shahid,
Uh,
especially,
Sorry, I just wanted to add one point here
please.
about the battery. Uh, like the solar just shaped after 2019, similarly, battery storage also, we have seen around 200% growth in 2025. So it clearly shows an idea where the market is going and how the people will, utilize these options in future. So this is a really big numbers that we have seen in the Pakistan market. So uh, if I say it's going to a replica of Australian market where the government have subsidized the consumer on the battery storage. So this is sort of the alternative government initiated the net billing to move toward the battery storage more. Thank you.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Gal Waqas Shahid, UNIRAZZ, with your experience over the utility, please, if you can introduce yourself as a star. And I would like to understand from your point of view, working in beyond the usual consumption stage, what do you think is solarization doing to the utility as of today in Pakistan? And how do you think it will keep on affecting that grid in the upcoming few years?
Hello and assalamu alaikum, and hello to all the viewers who are watching us on the Zoom live. I am Waqas Shahid from UNIRAZZ Services. I am in the energy infrastructure development from last 2 decades and do EPCC approach for the large infrastructure projects. So the question from Waleed is very interesting regarding the utility. As the solarization is increasing and booming in Pakistan from the last many years, and on the other side, the utility and the power grid is also facing the problem from the private people who are increasing the solarization in Pakistan. Yes, they are affected, and it is seen in the news, in the utility, in the policy that the utility is affected by the duck curves in the peak hours. But what I suggest or what I see that the result or the solution of these utility problem again lies within the solar itself. Because in order to cope up with this, more companies are invited in Pakistan to do their best and solarization for the utility, for the energy buying companies of Pakistan. So they buy the cheaper energy from solar, store in the BESS, and then supply on the curve time or the peak time. So the solution of this problem of solarization, I can say, is again in adopting the same renewable energy approach. And this renewable energy approach will add more products like BESS and PV, and then the stability products in the Pakistani market.
So, if I remember, if I understand properly, you say that solar may be cause the challenge, but it can also be the solution. Of course, implementing more advanced technological components such as energy storage where we can stabilize.
Yes, yes, yes. Because recently there is a study done by European GIZ in which they are also proposing to install the large utility BESS in the grid stations in order to save the electricity and use that in the peak hours. So we have to adopt the same renewable in the utility also in a larger scales, and all the companies who are interested in the Pakistani market is now have more interest in the large scale solarization and large scale utility BESS that are now coming in the market.
I understand, and it makes absolute sense. And I don't think people understand the impact of energy storage. It's not only a way to store from the peak generation to the peak demand. It's also a way to stabilize the entire electrical specifications of the grid. Thank you, Gal. I will get back to you. I have a couple more questions that I think you are in a leading position to answer. I'm gonna go to Moiz. Moiz, after an introduction, if you can give us an idea how you think solar and battery energy storage as a combination together are able to be a solution today for the residential and C&I sector?
Yeah, first of all, I would really like to thank Solarabic and Clean Tech Marketing for organizing this important discussion. As Waleed said, my name is Moiz Khan. I'm the CEO of SBEEC and SBEON, part of the SB Group. And at SBEEC, we work with industries, commercial customers to deliver integrated energy solutions with solar, battery energy storage, power energy management, microgrids, and power quality. Actually, over the past few years, we've seen Pakistan evolve into one of the world's fastest growing solar markets. But in my view, the next phase is even more exciting. It's about making our energy systems smarter, more reliable, and more resilient through storage, intelligent controls, and grid integration. Waleed, I think the for your question, the next stage, the natural next stage for the Pakistani market to go to is the solar and battery energy storage solution because, as you know, with a lot of solarization that we already have, and with that, we have a lot of daytime solar energy production that's already installed. So we have the base. Now, how to use it, I would say more smartly, more intelligently, is by using battery energy storage on not just residential scale, but also CNI scale. As you know, most of the all of the, in fact, solar installation is in Pakistan is behind the meter. And that, of course, has its challenges for the grid, as we were discussing, but it also has its opportunities for residential and CNI customers, where they can use that installed solar base and integrate with battery energy storage to further reduce their levelized cost of energy and to make it more affordable, for them to run their homes, to run their businesses. Uh, you know, uh, in Pakistan, in the residential segment, there was a lot of domestic gas usage also, and a lot of appliances would be running on gas. But now, actually, the electrification of the home is also happening because we don't have that sort of indigenous gas anymore. And so, people's residences, their consumptions, they are increasing. And for that, again, they require even more saving and energy management. And I think solar and energy storage are the perfect solution for these residences.
Thank you.
Similarly, with CNI clients, I would say that there was a huge or is a huge installation base of fossil fuel based captive power plants that the industry has invested in and installed over time to make them cost competitive, because most of these large scale industries, their biggest cost is energy. And
Right.
for them now, they have this new opportunity where they again, as or they already have the installation base in with most of the large scale industries, and now they can install and integrate battery energy storage to not just use their energy during the day, but also at night, and decrease their fossil fuel consumption. And I think if our government, which I think they are already thinking along those lines, if they can introduce measures to uh, promote it, uh, to use the banks to fund it, to make it easier for these businessmen and residential owners to integrate this, and then on the back end, on substation level, use the smart data to plan their grid and also install energy storage solutions. I think it could be an even bigger revolution than what solar brought, and the benefits that solar installation brought to Pakistan.
I agree 100%. And I think this is the normal growth of the market, Miles. We start from the residential, we go into the CNI. And speaking of this, I want to ask Mr. Azhar again. We gave you a chance to catch your breath after your presentation. Why, in your opinion, Nouman, why is it late for the big utility scale project using battery energy storage to kick off properly in Pakistan compared to the smaller scale?
Yeah, thank you, Waleed. So as far as the utility scale systems are concerned, as mentioned very rightly by Moiz, that previously people were depending upon mostly the fossil fuel sources as well. Like even so many factories, they were actually depending upon the gas gensets as well. But now even from the government level, if you see, there's a sort of a realization against that. Previously, the tariffs which were going to, because those industry which were actually running on, the gas fuel actually, so their tariff was actually, different. But now if you consider, their tariffs are actually quite high. So now even if, it's better if they, they use grid instead, if rather than that, gas fuels. So from that perspective, even if you see, there is, a lot of demand coming in for, the best, because most of these factories, if you see, there are a number of factories here in Pakistan. They have already installed, a big, large scale, PV systems already. Like even if you take example of, cement industry, our textile industry, it's almost, almost every plant now has, a plants given bigger than even, 10, 15, or even up till, 35, 40 megawatt PV systems as well. So for them now actually to, because in their daytime loads, they actually cannot, utilize all that power actually. So for them actually to, install that utility scale BESS is sort of mandatory now, because that energy is actually, not giving them any sort of benefit out of it.
So I think it's all about the financial sense of it because technically it makes absolute sense.
Yeah, exactly. It's not only like, it's technically sounds them, it gives them the benefit, but also mostly because all the systems here actually installed here in Pakistan is that they're all do working on, the financial models. So as far as, because our tariff rates are actually, quite higher than as compared to, other countries across the globe. So if you consider, our cost in terms of electricity, if they install, the PV systems, because they have already installed those. So now if they add BESS in that, so that gives them a plus. So it's almost, it sort of gives them an additional benefit out of it.
Thank you, Norman. I want to ask one question to Rana, the question we received in the QA session on Zoom. Rana, based on the on what you are seeing in the market today, I think a lot of people in the Pakistani market are still evaluating batteries based on the price. People are asking how much is this, how much is that, and they go with the option that makes the most sense to them financially. What is your advice to anyone who is going to buy a battery, a solar plus battery energy storage, the technologies of module and the technologies of battery? How would you advise end users in the Pakistani market to make the decision what and how they should install solar?
Thanks, Waleed. I think it's a very good question, and I would just say the trust beat the price. As far as the Pakistan market is concerned, we are, relying on the Japanese products in the past of the history. So we assume that Japanese products are more reliable. The reason behind it, because there is a famous quote that quality is not free, so it has a price. So I think price doesn't matter at the moment in the Pakistan market, because we have seen the price decline in the battery industry since last decade over 75%. So choosing the battery or just on because of the price is not a good choice. People have to evaluate the different warranty terms, technical support, if because this is something you apply for your critical load. So if something goes wrong, you have to get the immediate solution for it. So if the battery manufacturers have a 24/7 support locally, then that would be the good option for selecting the brand for those brand. So ultimately, it refer to the trust of the brand, how they, you know, promote their presence in the Pakistan market. So mostly people use batteries for their off-peak time, and at that time mostly service centers are not available, are not open. So this is very critical point, because everybody is offering that we are establishing after sales centers, uh, everything. But uh, I have worked for some switchgear manufacturer as well. So in that scenario, I just correlate when something shut down and you just relying on the manufacturer, that maybe they will immediately resolve your problem. That's the core of the crux of this question. So always choose the brand which have assured you the real-time support on ground.
I also have another example on the same ideology that we should take. For example, I lived in multiple countries. So, for example, in Jordan, a certain car manufacturer was very, very popular because their agent and their representative in the market was very, very reliable and strong. You go to a different market, it's completely the opposite. That brand is not popular because the agent on ground is not really supportive, or the representative. And I think this applies for batteries as well. And this is why it is extremely important to evaluate the manufacturer and evaluate the capabilities on the ground, because if the product is amazing and service is poor, it's not useful. And the other way around is also not very helpful.
Yes, very true. But for the Pakistan market, battery is, I can say, the new thing, obviously, because previously people are using the routine UPSs for their essential off-time load. But now the things slightly changed to get the solar power stored in their energy, and they now wanted to cut off their the utility bills. So that's very important in Pakistan, and the history of any brand in storage, I don't think is at that point that we can claim some brand is very prominent and can support the customers. So ideally, until we have seen some local manufacturer or the technology transfer itself into the Pakistan market, that makes sense to get that level of trust. But obviously, right now, people are have experience around 1.5, 2 year of the batteries, so they can choose the best one from the locally available at the moment.
I understand. I understand. This is why we all depend on companies like Polyntech to transfer the knowledge into the local market. Thank you, Rana. Thank you. Gal Waqas, I want to ask you a question that maybe in a different direction. Do you think there is a negative impact of this solarization movement that batteries can or cannot support with? Do you think there is an impact on the grid?
Yes, obviously there are negative impacts of everything. I gave the example of recently of the gas and generators when came, they have their negativity. But what I suggest, what I think, it may be some other people in our this meeting show the better version. But what I think is the capital outflow, as there is no Pakistani manufacturing company, no lithium is extracted in Pakistan, no manufacturing currently in, it's just assembling. So foreign exchange drain is happening on a large scale. If you consider in your start of the webinar, you are talking about the gigawatt. If you multiply that gigawatt hours with the dollars, you can see how much foreign exchange drain have been done. So government and organization and foreign companies must work on it. And secondly, that I must in, add in that we are doing the solarization with the carbon, taking the carbon credit, doing that. This is a green energy. but a large amount of groundwater extraction is causing a huge cause of environmental destruction in Pakistan in the agriculture sector, where a very cheap solar product is available, and excessive groundwater extraction I have seen in many regions in Punjab and Sindh, that is causing a huge trouble in future. It's starting here, and in future, I think it will cause a massive trouble coming year. So I must say, government organization must involve on the right time to attend this issue. So we must not. It doesn't happen that we save one thing on the energy and lose our water after 10 years. So these are my concerns
Very,
about
very
the
strong
negative
point.
impact.
Very, very, very solid point. I think I remember I had one time a discussion with a governmental representative talking about how important it is to localize the technology rather to just keep on importing it because of all of the negative impacts you just mentioned. And I think there is always a challenge between providing the best value to the people and providing the best value to the government and trying to find that middle ground where it provides value to everyone. So his argument was if we push heavily for localization, there is going to be a price of localization, and that price of localization means that the batteries will not be as cheap as they are. For example, they will not be as developed as they are, but of course, we are going to move the market. So we will let people, the local people, pay that localization price on the short term, but definitely on the long term, it gives the value to the people. So I think it's always that kind of discussion and that kind of comparison.
Yes, you're right. We have to take the balance of this technology, and you use this in a very smarter way, so that we, if in our future, yes, companies are coming in Pakistan. Yes, I endorse here. There are manufacturers who are assembling. That's better than importing a complete units. There are companies who are assembling things, but when on a very smaller scale, I have heard once that when the Istanbul airport is constructing, the government announced that all the locks and local material, you have to make your new factories here in Turkey, and make that the largest. So government must think about it, providing a good policy on it.
I agree. I am a big, big supporter of localization of technology. Really, I really think this is a must for any big market like the Pakistani market. Thank you, Mr. Shahid. Moiz, I want to ask you something very interesting. You were talking about the impact on the TNI, on the residential, how energy storage can really change the structure of the market. If you look at battery energy storage for the utilities, for let's say it's the government, for the governmental entities, that is an actual asset that you can have as a country where it has a valuation, it has all of that uh, uh, monetized value in it. How do you think the Pakistani government can make such solutions or such expansion in assets cost effective by, of course, including the people as well?
Yeah, well, Waleed, as you said that these, if planned properly, these can become huge assets. All the concentrations of energy, of high energy consumption, whether they are industrial complexes, whether they are a residential, the load curve has really changed because of solar installation. And of course, that also varies in the summers and the winters. But when planned properly using data, they can, really increase energy resilience for not just the public, but even for, for state security, for assets of the country. We have a power mix of fossil fuels. We have a large hydro installation base also on the utility scale. Then we have nuclear. And on a substation level, if we have all that data, all these battery energy storage systems, they can become huge assets. For example, let's say that if we have a power outage in one area, we can, and we have battery energy storage installed, we can shift. If critical power is required in an area, that energy can be shifted from one, area to another. This can act, and it's an important part of state security also for the armed forces, for the government and their assets. And I think that is especially relevant in the global politics that we are, and the incidents that are happening and we are seeing today. Um, when it comes to easier access, I think the government, since the government owns, banks also, I think the government can introduce policies to make it easier for the public, for businessmen to access this energy storage solutions through maybe clean energy funds, through funding it with the attractive interest rates. The government actually did this before. The State Bank of Pakistan had a policy for businesses, and they had a criteria to lend to businesses at a very attractive interest rate, and it had a huge outcome in the sense that it was completely utilized, that fund, and the businesses really benefited from it. So I think this a similar thing can be done on even not just a national level, but also a provincial level. And I think the government is already thinking along these terms, because we also have a huge network of irrigation canals. We have a lot of government land that is available, and in the industrial areas also that the government has available. So, the government has all these assets, and along with energy storage, they can really make energy supply cost friendly and resilient for the public and for businesses. And I think
Mu'taz,
that's the way to
Moiz,
go.
I want to say something. Maybe I am from outside the market, but I think the growth that we have seen in the Pakistani market for solar came from the people, not from the government. It
Yes.
was it was the people who made solar huge because they wanted to solve a problem that is existing today because of the lack of reliability and the extremely expensive cost of electricity. So
Yeah,
for the
so you're
government,
right, because the timing is very important in everything, right? So people took the matter into their own hands because it made economic sense. The same thing will happen with energy storage also. It's just about if the stakeholders are willing to take those steps, but whether they are or not, this transition will happen. And we are already seeing it. The people are taking matters into their own hands, as we saw from the data that Mr. Nouman also presented and all the other panelists presented. The energy storage installation is already happening on residential level or on CNI level. It's going to happen. It's just about how, if the government facilitates it, it might happen even quicker.
yeah, hopefully we learn from the challenges of the past and improve the future, hopefully. Uh, uh, Nouman, I want to ask you a question that we received from one of our attendees, Mr. Khalid Iqbal. He said you discussed the recycling issue. And of course, recycling is a very, very, very important matter when it comes to battery energy storage for two reasons. Number one, the lifetime of the battery is shorter than the lifetime of the module. So we are talking about more often process to happen. Number two, some of the batteries require special treatment after their lifetime rather than, again, modules. Is there any kind of programs that Polyntech have on a global or regional level that offers take back or safe disposal or safe recycling? And do you think there should be one in the future?
Yeah, thank you, Waleed. A very good question, and I think a very important question in terms of, Pakistan market perspective as well. You see, for the pilot tech, recycling as I showed you, like it's one of the major steps which we do. So we definitely, take back some of that, and we recycle that in many other countries, especially in the European market, right? But as far as the Pakistani market is concerned, mostly the systems installed here into the Pakistani market were actually grid-tied solar systems previously. So now people are actually moving towards BESS from, like, you can say, past 2, 3, or 4 years. There were some imports in Pakistan, like from 2017, 2018, and onward, but they were less. But if the data which I showed to you from the last year, it's basically sparked heavily on that, like almost 60% we imported out of total imported in the last year, right? So after like 5 years, when that warranty period, most of the battery terms which are companies offering over here in Pakistan are 5 years, right? Some of companies like Polyntech and some other brands, they are offering 10 years warranty. So after that 5 years transition period is like sort of completed, so then the step will become of recycling, right? And it's actually very important. I did some active research on this. So if God forbids, if you place this DG goods near to some residential zones, like you dump it there, so it causes, so many diseases as well. It causes, skin cancers and those things as well. So recycling is sort of, very important for us. And in future, people are already talking here in Pakistani market recycling for both, not only for, lithium ion batteries, but also for the solar panels as well. So this will, I think, be, shifting toward another specific task, or you can say another specific job in the future for the solar market as well here into the Pakistan. As of now, if you're talking about Pakistan, we don't have done that because that period has not yet been completed in terms of warranty, right? But obviously, when those period will be there, so there definitely we will have plans for Pakistan too.
That's brilliant. This is extremely important. And I'm going to ask you a question. Is there any plans for Polyntech to have some sort of production facility in Pakistan anytime soon? Is this something on the agenda?
Hmm. Waleed, that's I think because nowadays, as mentioned by my colleagues as well, people are going into the local production, right? But out of those local production, few I have visited myself as well. Like they were interested to work with us as well for the local production. But unfortunately, when I went there and I see the quality of those products, they are not up to the standard, especially if you consider about the Chinese standards which have for the manufacturing and for the R&D. As I showed in you my PPT that we also had a plan, and we also have a plan to go into SKD production and then later on into the CKD model, right? But the quality comes first out of it, right? So as of now, we are working on several business models which should be sort of implemented. But if you try to cover those sort of technical aspects and those sort of quality standards which are actually there and known by the name of pylon tech, right? So that actually, currently the current distributors or the current partners which we have here in Pakistan, they cannot calculate the ROI on that. If you just want to assemble something from China and just, even that assembly is a bit rough. I actually, don't like that because nowadays people are sort of maybe from 100K difference or a 150K difference, they're buying a local assembly product. I have seen that manufacturing that's not like actually up to the standards. So if and now in future, if we go into the local assembly, we will go proper local assembly. It will not be compromising on only quality standard. And if those quality standards cannot be met in here in the Pakistani market, then I think we will not be going into the local, yeah, assembly actually.
I fully see it and I agree 100%. Anyway, this is a process. It needs to happen properly and everything around. It's not just the factory. It's
Yeah,
the raw material next to you, and it's the logistics hub, and it's the warehouses. Everything needs to be built step by step. Hopefully, we can see international companies in Pakistan soon, inshallah. Inshallah. Thank you,
yeah.
Nouman. Rana, I'm going to go with one final round of questions. Rana, and I'm going to choose you because you have the challenge, or you had the challenge of promoting advanced technology when it came to modules. When Huasun was pushing the heterojunction, when everybody else was still doing the TOPCon technology, even with back contact, that's still TOPCon. Uh, uh, you worked in the Pakistani market when solar was new. You worked in the Pakistani market when the solar industry was mature. How easy do you think now it is to convince the Pakistani market of switching to new technologies or accepting new technologies if they say the actual value?
Thanks, Waleed. I would like to answer this question as I, with my exposure from shifting market from PERC to TOPCon and then TOPCon to heterojunction, and then we have seen the BC technologies coming up, and now the new wave is coming from tandem and perovskite. So the building customer confidence is previously it was very hard. Before 5 years, 10 years, people want to know how solar works. But now, after getting kilowatt to gigawatt size of panels in market, people now trust at least these panels can work, right? So the solar is there. Now the people also concerned about the futuristic technologies. So when I started pitching the heterojunction to the market, I started with, showing some the global factors that according to the Pakistan ambient temperature, what is better for the country and better for your own production. So the country like Pakistan, there are several factors who help to choose the right product for the right application. That is matter a lot. Uh, if we talk about BC and HJT, that is now the prime product in Pakistan market, and both have the different application scenarios. Like Pakistan for the DG market, for the rooftop, obviously the BC is superlative. For the on-ground projects, HJT is have an edge on the BC. It just have some technical background like albedo and other factor temperature coefficient. So these make the technologies differentiate. So in upcoming days, there will be war in between the efficiency of the modules. As you may heard about the China new upcoming policy, which is going to be implemented on first of 2027, the first month. So now they had differentiated the product in the G3 category. So they will, not allowed to sell low efficiency modules, inside the China. First they implement and then they implement to the overseas market. So as I mentioned, in Pakistan, we already have huge solar installation. So like if we study our consumption, that is peak is around 22, 25 gigawatt. We have seen in the peak time. So if you see the 50 gigawatt is already in the Pakistan market, so people will definitely go for the new technologies where they save the money. Like if they complete their ROI right now, so they will definitely replace with the new technology. It's similar trend, the disruptive technology like the 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G. This is the perfect examples that leads to the solar technology actually. So the roadmap for technology is for everybody is the tandem, that is the upcoming technology, which is going to be implemented and available by maybe end of this year or early next year. So now people already have the know-how about the technology and the benefit about the product. So that's make them, select the right technology for their applications.
This is extremely important, because when people go for a wrong decision, it affects the entire industry. It does not only affect their project. People will say
Yes,
there is a failure or there is a problem. So it's
correct.
extremely important to maintain that. Yes,
Yes.
thank you, Rana. This brings me to my next question, Mr. Shahid. Mr. Shahid, today the market is growing very, very fast. And if you look at different sectors, all of them are growing. Energy storage even is growing also very, very fast, as we have heard from the speakers before. How can the industry, having you been for over 2 decades following different parts of the electricity industry, how can this industry make sure that renewable energy maintain reliable and in good quality? Do you think this should be driven by the government? Do you think this should be driven by the market? Do you think it should be awareness to the end users? What do you suggest would be the best way to make sure that the industry remains within quality?
Actually, the quality is, I think, the main concern for all of us. And the reliability, in my opinion, is that anybody, any company who is coming in Pakistan, or the top 10 who are already in Pakistan, must have select a right partner in the sense of their agentship, or as a marketing company, or as any PR company. They have to select the right company, the right consultant, because if you are not guided rightly, your product will never be sold. If sold, they will not be in a good quality to get the claims. The same example in this webinar we are giving about the companies of the car company you are giving, the same is in this. So the reliability is totally relied on the partners who are already in Pakistan and its selection by the company to get it more reliable. The scope is very large. We are talking about a very simpler things nowadays. The scope is extremely large. If we can see in Pakistan, many sectors are not even touched. Just like agriculture sector, they are even not touched in Pakistan. Utility haven't started buying a single panel, I can say, in a large scale. So if you are entering in Pakistan without any local support or good marketing, PR company, good insight, you will be wasting your time, and the product that is going to sell will make a bad name on the entire thing. I'm just giving a more example of it. While introducing any product, we are afraid if that best failed, all the companies will affect will this name. People will follow a hard theory in Pakistan and give examples that that best didn't work, so this technology is not good. So the reliability is the most important thing because it will save all the stakeholders in it. If one product failed, one company failed, it will fail all the companies in Pakistan.
Do you think that do you think the market should lead, making sure that the quality maintains in the high level, or do you think this is the responsibility of the government with having required certifications and so, or do you think this is the awareness of people where we should teach everyone the importance of high quality? Where do you think we should start?
Actually, at the current stage, the awareness is the most important thing. Information is available to all over because government will take time to make a specialization or specification of this product. It will take time because they haven't, I think, even started seriously now, or it will started in a couple of months. But the information, right information to the client must be achieved or must be available in the internet. So this is the right time. You go on the internet and get every right information about the cells, about the PCS, about the PV panels. So if the buyer have all the right information, this is currently the first priority, that information must be reached to every sort of people by any mode, by companies directly or by any companies or government, so that the right product must be served to all the users.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shahid. Moiz, I'm going to ask you a question. Maybe it's a little bit far from the topic, but we have received a couple of comments discussing the EV market and the potential in the Pakistani market. Do you think today the growth and maturity of solar plus energy storage will be a key driver for the growth of the EV market? And what is the limitation today? Why the EV isn't super huge?
Yeah, I think it will be. Energy storage will play a big role because to charge our cars, we also need, we don't want to put in expensive electricity, right? We want to put in cost-effective electricity, and for that, we need solar plus ESS solution. And I think that the EV adoption is, it's not like going crazy yet, but it's in the right direction. The government has taken steps. Um, they've given a specific tariff for EV charging, a separate tariff, which is not an easy thing to do. Practically, there are some issues of connections, utility connections for EV charging stations, but the momentum is there from the auto sector and also from the end users. Again, driven by cost and uh, the energy storage will definitely, play a huge role in making EV charging a 24-hour phenomenon and at a lower cost. So solar and energy storage, they have to be installed, and eventually they will be installed at EV charging stations as these develop. So it's not going at a very quick scale, but this transition is already happening. We are seeing EV charging stations being installed at commercial spaces in on highways. Now we are also seeing a push by the Oil and Gas Regulatory Authority, OGRA, for EV charging stations to be installed by all new fuel stations. It's become mandatory for new stations, and I think next year it will become mandatory for all fuel stations. So their licenses won't be renewed unless they do so. And it's actually causing an interesting shift in the sense that now you've started to see, restaurants and coffee shops and retail outlets also being open as part of the same concept of being a stopover where you can charge your car in 1 or 2 hours and also buy things or eat. So and I think that once these EV charging stations are installed, you will need to have solar and then energy storage and the right size. You have to size it and design it correctly also, in order to actually make it viable for the person who's installed the EV charging station and has a commercial business case for it. So for them to have a good ROI, they will have to also install a solar and energy storage solution. And then
And
eventually,
everywhere
people
we
will be
look,
competing on
there is
this.
opportunity in Pakistan for
Yeah.
energy storage.
Yeah, I think along with the energy storage, EV charging is a parallel boom that's happening here. And another indicator for that is if you look at the data of the number of electric cars that are on this, not just on the streets, but they've already been booked at the by the public. And if you see the automakers, their data and their production and import data, you can see how many are going to be on the road in the next coming months,
That would be great.
electric and hybrid
That would
cars.
be great. That would complete the transition steps that Pakistan has been taking for years, definitely. And I think we all would love to close our eyes and imagine a Pakistan that is 100% clean, 100% dependent on renewable energy, manufactures its own required components at the highest quality levels in collaborations with companies like Polyntech, with collaboration with companies like Huasun, where it's become extremely independent. And the topic that Mr. Shahid mentioned about the loss of foreign currency stops for also oil and gas, where we can generate most of it inside Pakistan. You have all the resources required. Uh, uh, Definitely something within reach if we maintain the growth that we are having. Thank you, Moiz. One final question, Nouman. We have taken more than the time we expected, but imagine I am in Pakistan today. I want to buy Polyntech energy storage solutions. What is the structure? Should people talk to you? Do you have distributors? If I am an end user, is it different from if I am an EPC? Can I deal directly with the company? If you can give a little bit of directions to people who want to adopt your solutions in Pakistan.
Yeah, thanks, Waleed. So as of now, we're working on the distribution model here in Pakistan. So as of now, we have, two distributors here. One is APAR and one is Divan International. So all of our product ranges, they are available there with both our distributors. So the end users or the EPC companies, they can just call them away and they can buy the product.
Thank you, Norman. If it's possible to maybe write the names of the companies in the chat with people who are with us in Zoom, just the names of the companies. I'm pretty sure everybody can search these days. And once we send the email after, should I keep that remark? If it's possible that we can include their contact information, that would help. And anyway, AE Power V1 International. Thank you, Nouman. And anyway, should I just share the email addresses of everyone, of our speakers, if anybody would like to? I know we have, I think, 14 or 15 questions that we didn't answer. We don't have the time. So please feel free to contact the gentleman directly. Thank you very much, Mohammed Nouman Azhar from Polyntech, Waqas Shahid from UNIRAZZ, Rana Farhan from Huasun, Moiz Khan from SBEEC. It has been a brilliant hour and a half, and we look forward on doing more and more, inshallah, in the Pakistani market. Thank you very much. I hope everyone has a very good day. Shukran.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.